Okay, so we're diving into prepping for a movie distributor interview.
hmm
And we're going to use RoleCatcher's Intel to like give you an edge.
Yeah, we have career guides, sample interview questions, even a peek into how RoleCatcher's AI can like really personalize your approach.
That's awesome. So this is more than just like getting the job. It's
Yeah.
really understanding the whole field, like the high stakes negotiations that happen all the time, the digital streaming world, and how to get these films, from the big screen to everyone's screen.
Exactly. And we're not just going to rehearse answers. We're going to really look at what interviewers are looking for
Mhm.
and how to show off that you really understand this industry.
Right. So first, what does a movie distributor actually do?
Well, it's more than just getting the film shown. Like, it's strategizing how that film's journey goes from when it's finished being made to when it ends up, in theaters or people's living rooms around the world.
So you're talking about coordinating those releases like DVD, Blu-ray, streaming, all of
Yeah.
it, and then like striking deals with theaters.
Yeah, definitely. And it's not just the logistics. Like, a good movie distributor knows how to market,
Yeah.
knows the audience trends, and predicts what people are going to want to see. They're always building relationships with production companies, distributors, exhibitors. Like, it's a very people person kind of job in a really high stakes industry.
This career guide mentions the work environment, which seems kind of intense, like fast-paced, high-pressure deadlines all the time. You'd have to really thrive in that environment.
You definitely need to be comfortable with that. The film industry is like this whirlwind of, creativity and commerce, and a movie distributor is right in the middle of all that. They're the bridge, making sure a film's vision comes through and that it's commercially successful.
Okay, let's look at some of these interview questions. So the first one is, can you tell us about your experience in the film distribution industry? Seems pretty simple, but what are they really trying to find out about you?
It's your chance to show that you get the industry, like not just listing past jobs, but showing how those jobs taught you specific things that a movie distributor needs.
So they want to see if you can take what you already know and apply it to what they need.
Exactly. And RoleCatcher's AI can help here. It looks at the job descriptions and picks out the keywords and skills they're looking for. Then it suggests how to make your answers fit what they want.
Oh, that's smart.
Oh,
Okay, next question. How do you stay up to date on industry trends and market changes? What's the best way to answer this?
you want to show that you're proactive about learning. Like you could mention publications you follow, like Variety, The Hollywood Reporter, Deadline, even websites like IndieWire or Box Office Mojo.
Going to industry events and conferences.
Yes, definitely. That shows you're really involved, not just reading things, but actually being a part of the industry. What about you? What publications or events are you already following?
Hmm, that's a good question for our listener to think about. The next question is about strategy. How do you assess the potential success of a film project? I bet that's where a movie distributor's expertise really shines.
For sure. They want to see if you can go deeper than just the obvious stuff, like the budget genre or actors, and get into the details of what makes a film successful financially.
So what are some of those less obvious things a really good distributor would look at?
Think about the target audience. Is there a group of people already interested in this type of movie? Does the film tap into what's popular right now? Also, look at the competition. Are other similar films coming out at the same time? And how about distribution? Will it be in theaters, on streaming, or a combination?
Wow, there is a lot to think about. It's not just about the film itself, but its whole journey and who will watch it. Okay, let's look at a question about negotiating.
Yeah.
How do you negotiate distribution deals with filmmakers and studios? What should you focus on here?
It's all about finding the right balance between being firm and being friendly. You have to show that you can fight for the best deal for your company while still keeping those relationships strong.
So it's like creating a win-win situation. Get a good deal for your company, but also make sure the filmmakers are happy too. And this is where people skills and knowing the industry really matter.
Exactly. And again, RoleCatcher's AI can give you feedback. It can help you improve how you talk about negotiating and make sure you're highlighting those key communication skills that are super important in this role.
Okay, next question. How do you assess the potential profitability of a film project? So is this where you show off your finance skills?
This is your chance to impress them by showing how well you understand the money side of film distribution. Like, don't just talk about how much it makes in theaters. Think about things like DVD sales, streaming licenses, merchandising, and even selling the film to other countries.
So you're painting a full picture of how the film will make money,
hmm
not just in the US, but everywhere. What kind of follow-up questions do you think they might ask?
They might ask you to walk them through a specific example. Like, imagine you have to distribute a low-budget indie film versus a big-budget action movie. How would you do it differently? Or they might ask you to analyze how well a recent film did financially. So be ready to think on your feet and use your knowledge in real situations.
Good point.
Hmm.
It's not just about knowing the ideas, but being able to use them.
Yeah.
Okay, this one's about relationships. How do you manage relationships with theater chains and exhibitors? I bet people skills are important here too.
Definitely. You have to build and maintain those relationships. It's all about clear communication, understanding their needs, and negotiating deals that benefit everyone.
So it's not just about getting your films into theaters. It's about having strong partnerships that will last.
Exactly. You could think of it like a dance between art and commerce. You're the choreographer making sure everyone's on the same page and moving towards the same goal. A successful film release.
I like that analogy. Okay, this next question is about marketing. How do you ensure that a film project is marketed effectively? What's the best way to answer this?
Show that you understand the marketing world, especially with all the changes in digital media. Talk about different marketing channels like social media influencer, marketing, targeted advertising, and explain how you'd adjust your strategy depending on the film and who you're trying to reach.
So you need to be flexible and know how to use each marketing tool to connect with the right audience. How should our listeners structure their answer?
I would treat it like a mini marketing plan. First, figure out who you're trying to reach. Then talk about which channels you'd use and what kind of message would work best. Don't forget to mention how you'd track whether your campaign is successful.
That's a great framework. It shows you can think strategically and understand the marketing process. Okay, this question gives you a chance to highlight your successes. Can you walk us through a successful film release that you were a part of? Time to brag a little.
You bet. This is where you tell a story that shows how you made a difference and solved problems. Pick a project where you really shined and explain the role you played in making it a success. Remember, you're not just listing what happened, you're showing them how you think strategically, how you overcome challenges, and how you contributed to a positive outcome.
So how can our listener make their story stand out?
Tell it like a mini case study. Set the scene. What was the film and what were the challenges? Then outline the steps you took, the decisions you made, and the final results. Use numbers whenever you can, like box office numbers, social media engagement, or DVD sales.
Numbers definitely make your story more impactful. Okay, last question. How do you manage a film distribution team? This one's all about leadership.
You need to show that you can lead, motivate, and inspire a team. Talk about how you communicate, how you delegate tasks, and how you create a positive work environment where everyone feels valued and supported.
So it's not about just giving orders. It's about building a strong team where everyone can do their best work.
Exactly. Be specific. Tell them about a time you changed the way your team communicated and it made them more efficient. Or maybe you mentored someone who went on to do really well. Real-life examples make your leadership style come alive and show that you're not all talk.
So these are just examples, right? Our listeners should use them as inspiration and come up with their own unique answers. And don't forget, RoleCatcher's AI can help with that by giving feedback and tailoring your answers to specific jobs.
That's right. We've talked a lot about the interview itself, but what about understanding the bigger picture of being a movie distributor? What insights does the RoleCatcher Career Guide offer about that?
Yeah, that's a great point. Let's take a look at the typical career path and the key skills you need to succeed in this exciting field. All right, so we talked about those interview questions and what it takes to be a movie distributor. Now let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture. What does a typical career path look like?
RoleCatcher's Career Guide gives you a good roadmap. It shows how you go from entry-level jobs to those top positions and what you need to move up.
Okay, so let's say you just graduated maybe with a film studies or business degree and you want to get into the industry. Where do you even start?
The guide really stresses getting that hands-on experience, like internships at film distribution companies, doing those day-to-day things like scheduling, coordinating logistics, helping with sales.
So even if it's not the most exciting job at first, you got to get your foot in the door.
Right. It's all about proving yourself, learning, and making those connections. And remember those networking events we talked about? Those are super valuable for meeting people and learning about different jobs in the industry.
The guide also mentions building a portfolio to show off your experience. What would that look like for someone just starting out?
It's about showcasing anything you've worked on, even small projects where you were involved in the distribution process. Like maybe you helped with market research or organized a screening or even created a marketing plan for a student film. Anything that shows you get the field and you're eager to learn.
And as you gained experience, how do you actually move up in your career?
It's like a staircase. You start as an assistant distributor, then junior distributor, and then finally become a full-fledged movie distributor. Each step gives you more responsibility, you have to make more decisions, and show leadership.
Okay, and for those who want to reach the top, what are those senior roles?
You're looking at positions like distribution manager, where you manage a whole team of distributors, or sales executive, who's responsible for getting those big deals. And at the very top, you have the vice president of distribution, who leads the whole distribution strategy for the company.
Wow, that's impressive. What can someone do to move up faster in such a competitive field?
The guide talks a lot about always learning. This industry changes so fast. New platforms, new technologies, new ways to connect with people. Staying ahead of the game is super important. So going to events, reading publications, taking online courses, all that helps a lot.
It sounds like a job where you're constantly learning. The guy also mentions showcasing your capabilities. How's that different from a portfolio?
It's like building on that portfolio, showing how you've grown and what you've achieved as you move up. Maybe you ran a successful campaign for a smaller film or negotiated a huge deal with a streaming service. Those are the things that make you stand out.
So it's about highlighting those wins where you really went above and beyond, showing how you made a difference. And I bet having those achievements to talk about in an interview would really impress potential employers.
Definitely. You're not just telling them you can do it, you're showing them with real examples.
Okay, we talked about the career path, but what about the skills you need to succeed as a movie distributor? What does the RoleCatcher Career Guide say about that?
It's a really cool mix of creative and analytical skills. You need that passion for film, that understanding of storytelling, but you also need to be good at business.
The guide lists persuasion and social perceptiveness as key skills. I wouldn't have thought those were so important for movie distribution.
Well, think about what they do. They're always negotiating, building relationships, convincing people to support a film's release. They have to be able to read people, understand what motivates them, and adjust how they communicate. And they need to be able to sell their ideas, their excitement for a project, and ultimately convince others that a film deserves to be seen by everyone.
So they have to be great communicators and strategists. What other skills are essential?
The guide emphasizes coordination, active listening, and critical thinking. You're juggling tons of projects, deadlines, and people. Active listening helps you understand what filmmakers and distributors need, and critical thinking lets you analyze trends, assess risks, and make good decisions.
So basically, organization, attention to detail, and strategic thinking are all must-haves.
Exactly. And don't forget about being adaptable. This industry never sits still. So being flexible, open to change, and a quick learner are really important for long-term success.
Out of all these skills, are there any that are absolutely non-negotiable for someone who wants to be a movie distributor?
I'd say knowing the film industry and the distribution process inside and out is the foundation. You need to know the players, the language, the different ways to distribute films, and the money side of things.
So it's not just about loving movies. You need to understand the business behind them.
Exactly. And you learn that through education experience and always staying curious.
This is all fantastic information. It seems like a challenging but really rewarding career path. But I'm sure our listeners are wondering how to actually land the job. That's where RoleCatcher's AI tools come in, right?
Absolutely. RoleCatcher is like your secret weapon. It's not just information, it actively helps you improve your application practice for interviews and even get noticed by the right companies.
So you're not just looking for jobs, they're finding you.
Exactly. It flips the whole job hunt around and puts you in control.
I like that. Let's talk about how RoleCatcher's AI can make you stand out in this competitive world. Okay, so we've talked about what it takes to be a movie distributor, the career path, the skills you need. Now let's dive into how RoleCatcher's AI can really help you land that job.
It's like having a personal career coach and a tech expert all in one. It helps you make your application better practice for interviews and even get noticed by the right employers.
So you're not just searching for jobs, you're making sure you're the perfect candidate. Let's start with the resume. We talked about applicant tracking systems, or ATS, before. How does RoleCatcher's AI help with that?
ATS can be tough. They scan your resume for certain words, and if you don't have them, you might not even get seen by a person. RoleCatcher's AI looks at job descriptions and figures out exactly what skills and experience they want. Then it tells you how to change your resume to match perfectly.
So it's like having someone who knows exactly what each employer wants, helping you highlight the best parts of your experience.
Right. And it's not just about keywords. It can also suggest stronger words to use, help you quantify your achievements, and even recommend the best way to organize your resume so it's easy to read.
That's amazing. We also mentioned RoleCatcher's AI for interview prep. Can you tell us more about that?
Remember those practice interview questions we talked about? RoleCatcher has a huge collection of them. You can practice answering them, and the AI will tell you how you're doing and give you tips to improve. It even checks your tone and how fast you're talking.
It's like a practice interview with an expert.
Yeah.
But if you'd rather practice with video, RoleCatcher can do that too.
Yeah, you can record yourself answering questions, and the AI will look at how you're speaking, your tone, your pacing, even your body language.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
And here's the best part. RoleCatcher can actually help employers find you.
Exactly. They have a feature where employers can search for candidates based on specific skills. If you choose to be visible, your profile shows up for recruiters who are looking for someone just like you.
So instead of you finding them, they find you. That changes everything.
It really does. It puts you in control.
This has been such an insightful deep dive. You've given our listeners a roadmap for not just acing that interview, but for building a successful career as a movie distributor.
We've explored all the different aspects of being a movie distributor, from the day-to-day work to the skills and knowledge you need, and we've seen how RoleCatcher's AI can give you a real advantage.
Now you're ready to not only prepare for that interview, but also understand what it's like to work in this exciting field.
As you start this journey, remember that your passion is key. What kind of movies do you want to share with the world? Let that drive you, and who knows, maybe you'll be the one behind the next big hit.
That's a great night to end on. So to our listeners, thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the world of movie distribution with RoleCatcher. Good luck with your job search, and we'll see you next time.